ShineHard family and friends. Welcome back to another episode of the ShineHard Conversation. I'm your host, Johnny Bailey, and this week I'm in Washington, D.C. with the financial phenom, Matthew Aaron. Matt is a financial advisor and he runs his own practice partnered with Northwestern Mutual Wealth Management. What's very, very unique about Matt's journey is that he's been running his own practice since he was a junior at Howard University. I think that's pretty cool, very Zuckerberg-esque. This week, Matt's gonna share some gems about money. He's gonna tell us some best practices as far as managing our money, and he's gonna become a member of the ShineHard family. So without further ado, Matt, it's time to shine.
Thanks for having me.
For sure, man.
Looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Yeah, it should be, man. It's a big day for you, man. I'm happy to have you, man.
Thanks.
So, a lot of times they say it's not how you start, but how you finish.
Right.
So far, you know, you're definitely going in the right direction. So I want to ask you, talk about a little bit about your childhood and what growing up was like for you.
Sure. So I grew up in the inner city in Irvington, New Jersey. So right next door to Newark, New Jersey. So if people know what Irvington and Newark is like, it's not the easiest place to live growing up. So I had a lot of different challenges, obstacles I had to face and overcome, but it built me to, you know, the man that I am today. So I certainly appreciate those experiences.
Sure.
I have both of my parents, definitely full support, but both of my parents, they worked so hard to try to help to, you know, enhance or get me to the next level, and through that though. In that situation where now I'm literally left to the guys on the block, you know, to really help me to understand what you know, how do I maneuver through life and some of those pieces, and some of the information I can take some good, you know, learn some good principles, and then some things, exactly, some things you're like, I'm gonna just put that, you know, throw that away and never talk about it again. But you know, I definitely. I had a different journey, I'm sure, than a lot of people growing up, coming up in the inner city, and I had the opportunity to go to Awesome High School, change my life.
Yeah. What high school did you go to?
St. Benedict's Prep.
Okay.
And yeah, so they figured out or found the cure, if you will, for, you know, how do they get inner city kids, males specifically, to that, you know, out of the inner city, out of the quote unquote hood, and get them to a better place in life.
I see.
And they have like a 98% graduation rate for kids going to college.
Wow. So is it an all boys school?
All male school.
Okay.
Focused on leadership, a number of other pieces that, you know, around brotherhood, and which really helped to develop, you know what I mean? Because we generally don't have that type of relationship, or a lot of them didn't have their fathers, a number of different factors, but it was huge.
You'd be surprised how many people I've interviewed on the ShineHard project that grew up with their moms, single parent homes, and it's really a prevalent issue, man. It's something that I think a lot of people go through, so that's definitely a huge foundational piece that you guys can have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's interesting, man. So who did you look up to as a kid?
A number of different people. I know the first person was a guy named Farrah Gray. He's the first self-made millionaire, African-American kid who became a millionaire at 14 years old.
No way.
Yeah, so I read his book.
Doing what?
He did a number of different things, but he sold the syrup. He created,
syrup?
I swear to God, he created a syrup and sold the syrup and for over $1 million.
What type of syrup are we talking about here?
Just maple syrup. We're talking about
pancake
syrup, you know, it was cool to be able to learn his story and how he got to where he was and to be so young.
For sure.
And how he kind of navigated through the relationships he had since he was a little boy, you know, and then learn about his, because he grew up in the projects, and so it's like.
He's from Jersey too?
No, he's not. He's from Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting. So, with that in mind, I guess you kind of had an idea of what was possible at a young age.
Right.
When did you know you wanted to be a financial advisor?
Really, I kind of fell into financial advising,
Really?
honestly, yes. I've always been an entrepreneur.
Sure.
Ever since I was little, and then I also knew that I loved how to generate capital,
Sure.
and then I also know I love to help people get to accomplish their goals.
Right.
So I kind of tied in all these pieces. I'm like, all right, well, what career looks like that?
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to a number of different people, and then I went to my mentor, who's now my mentor. I met him, and I kind of learned about what he did and how he got to where he was, and our stories were similar.
Right. Who's your mentor?
His name is Leo Tucker.
Okay.
He owns actually 5 Northwestern Mutual Wealth Management offices. I mean, this dude is sharp. I'm like, GQ, the whole deal, just the whole package. I'm like, yeah, I want to be like that guy, Right. And through that, I learned the whole role of a financial advisor. And when I wanted to start my practice when I was young. I was a freshman. And
in high school or college?
In college.
Okay.
And they were like, no way. They just said no way. I'm like, you must not know.
Well, you're green as a bag of leaves.
Right. So I'm like, all right. They clearly have no idea, my mindset. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really take that no as a no. I went, figured out a different strategy on how I was going to get there.
Right.
I went and interned at their corporate office in Wisconsin. Every day, breakfast and lunch, I had with somebody else in the company until I made it to the CEO.
Wow.
And essentially, in financial advising, that's what you need to do. That's what you have to do.
Meetings.
Right. You got to meet people.
Yeah.
You got to navigate. You got to learn how to get to the next level. Because at the end of the day, how I truly get compensated is through the clients and how much money I manage for them. Right. So if we're talking about true compensation, I need to be able to sit with people who actually do well, really well in their career, and make good money. And so I did that. Went golfing with some executive officers. Never seen a golf course a day in my life. This inner city kid, coming to Wisconsin.
Right. Okay.
Wisconsin, right? So we know it's probably not many of us.
Right. You're the only one.
Right. I was the only one. So it was a cool deal. Went there. They call my mentor now in DC, and he flew up to Wisconsin. I showed him my business plan, how I was going to execute, do the whole deal, and he contracted with me on the spot. And that's how I became a financial advisor.
Like that?
Like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So were you guys on the golf course? Because he didn't see your game.
No, if he saw my game, he probably would have had given me that contract. He's a big golfer. He's on Tiger Woods' board, the whole deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you talked a little bit about the relationships. I guess we both can agree that money is a people business. Can you talk a little bit about the type of clients, type of people that you work with, and how you approach acquiring new clients? Yeah.
So when I look at my clientele base, I look at it in 2 different ways. One is, those who I'm investing in, right? And then those who already kind of made it, right? And so I work with, a lot of my clients are physicians, attorneys, and business owners.
Yeah, that's a nice little base right there.
Yep. And now, physicians and attorneys, when they first come out of school, they got a boatload of student loans. And they also, for a physician that's coming out of school, they're going into residency, not really making much money, right? So for me, when I'm engaging with them, I'm just talking to them about the principles of finance, the basics. Education, budgeting, protecting their income, their assets, because that's the only thing they have is their ability to go to work, right? So we have to protect that. And then we also look at maybe some small strategic things they can do from an investment standpoint while they're young, before they actually go into a higher tax bracket. So helping them to navigate through that and just educating them, because there's a common theme with that group is that they're not the best with money.
Really?
And they know that. Right?
Really?
They're not the best.
Why is that though?
Because they go to school for so long, right? You go to school for so long, and then you come out, and then now you're making money, and you got a boatload of student loans, and you're like, I don't know what to do. And they sometimes they know they need help, but they don't want to. Their confidence level, their ego doesn't suggest that they want to go out and just reach out for help. And some of them are also pretty stubborn too. Yeah. So I love working with them though, because once you break and you really get that relationship, then you start to develop trust, and they're like, all right, I know I need help, and this is what I need.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real. So talk a little bit more about your practice and the services that you guys offer there.
Sure. So my practice, we do integrated financial planning.
Okay.
It sounds fancy, but essentially what it is that a lot of times you have different types of financial advisors,
Okay.
right? You have some who do just straight fee-based planning where they charge you for a financial plan, so
Okay.
it can be anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000. Right, and so that's their model, is how we're going to get as many people in the door, charge them $25,000 to $5,000, and it can be some really good financial plans.
Right.
And for some people, that's a great approach if they just want some like advice, so where it's like they have no ties to the relationship. It's just pay for the plan and you move on.
Right. So it's like a package. So we just
Right.
do the package and send us the money. Boom.
Boom, right? Now, that can be great for some people who are very self-motivated, they're already going to do everything. But for some people, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because if I give you this plan and you don't execute on it, I really didn't do anything for you.
Right.
Right? And,
Right.
and I have no incentive to follow up because I already got paid.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have some who do financial planning or wealth management, who just basically try to beat benchmarks and they charge you a fee for assets under management.
Okay.
And then you have some who are insurance agents who just think insurance is a solution for
Like
everything.
life insurance?
Yeah.
Those guys?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's not, and life insurance is certainly an important part of financial planning, absolutely. But some of them think that's the solution for everything. And then you got, accountants and attorneys.
Okay.
So a lot of these different advisors, and a lot of people treat their planning in a silo manner, right? So they may have their student loans, employee benefits, an investment guy, an insurance guy, an accountant, an attorney, but a lot of these people never talk to each other.
A lot of staff.
Right. A lot of people you gotta pay,
Yeah.
right? And so they never really talk to each other.
Mm.
So what my practice does is we help people, depending on what stage of their career, and if they're in the earlier start of their career, we're helping them to think that way from the beginning, to figure out how do we aggregate all of those pieces to the puzzle and think in an integrated manner, because you have more clarity.
Right.
And then you have the person who's on the later end of their career, they have all these different advisors, but they don't really know how all those pieces fit to the puzzle. So that's what we do. So we create written financial plans and aggregate all that.
Try to consolidate some of those roles.
Right.
Bring them into like one place in-house.
Exactly.
That's good, man. That's pretty epic, man, that you guys are able to do that. Especially, you're only, 23?
23.
Yeah, man. So how does that feel to be so young? Do you feel like people don't take you serious, or are people like looking at you like a unicorn?
Yeah.
Like, what's that experience like?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I figured out how to navigate through that. One is when I first started my practice, partnering with guys with gray hair.
Yeah.
Right? So
they're looking at you like.
Yeah. So having somebody with gray hair at the table is always nice, especially
With me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That
which is nice. But then I started to develop this sense of confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been confident, but now I'm like really confident.
That's good, man.
And I have a lot of conviction, and I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you do that, I by asking questions, you'll literally basically humble people, right? Because they come in the door, they think they know everything, and then I ask them this, and this, and they're like, okay, maybe I didn't think about that. I'm like, yeah, maybe you should listen.
You start asking the right questions that they can't answer, then you're onto something.
Right, and it's about challenging people too, right?
Yeah.
And so I love it, and I always tell people, especially who are older, I always tell people, I'm like, look, I'm 23. Right, which I'm excited about, right? Because I'm good at what I do.
Right.
But just think about how good I am, how good I'm gonna be in 10 years from
sure.
now. Think about how good I'm gonna be in 10 years from now when you're ready and when you have even more money. Do you want the guy that's comfortable where he is, or do you want the guy that's continuing still learning?
Yeah, the guy that's hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want somebody that's working for you that's hungry. You don't want somebody that's like they're about to retire next year, and it's like they don't do that. That doesn't do you any good.
That's right.
So
that's real.
Yeah.
So you talk about 10 years from now, how good you'll be. I think that comes with growth and learning and practice and studying.
Yep.
Where are you getting your information? What are you studying? Who are you looking up to? What's your thought process on getting better?
Sure. So I study in a number of different ways. One through the American College for financial services.
Okay.
So you get different designations and things of that nature from American College.
Okay.
I'm also studying through a certified financial planners book that I study inside and out. And then in terms of like general information about the market, things like that, like I'll look at Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club?
But no, the Wall Street. The
okay.
Wall Street
Oh, really?
Breakfast Club. Yeah. So I'll listen and talk and read that, and then just engaging with some of my team. Yeah. Because I have basically a team of folks that work with me, and they report to me all the things I need to be abreast about. Right. And so I let them go consume the information, they break it down and bring it to me and say, all right, here's the things that we need to let clients know. These are some of the concerns that's happening.
Yeah, that's great. So talk about your team. How important is it to have a team, and how many people are on your team?
Yeah, it's extremely important. I would not be able to do what I do if I didn't have my team. I walk into the week with 45 meetings on my calendar. There's no way. Like, I can't do that by myself. Right. It's just impossible. Because if I'm seeing clients, I always tell clients, if I'm seeing clients, you don't want me to guy managing your portfolio, right? And like, if I'm in front of you right now and something's going on, like, you don't want me to be the guy managing the actual portfolio. Yeah. So I have a great team. Two things. One, partner with Northwestern. So I get to leverage some of their services. Right. And then I have a right-hand woman, if you will, Jasmine, she's awesome. I mean, I can literally, everything's taken care of. Right. Like, I have no worries. When I walk in, everything, like, if I know something's I need to reschedule something, automatically, she knows what the deal is. Yeah.
That's a blessing, man. Yeah. Having a team is such a blessing, man. Right. They say if you want to go fast, you go alone. You want to go far, you go together. Right. Yeah, man. So that's pretty cool, man. So, I think every industry has misconceptions. Right. But I think there are many more things more universal than currency. So when it comes to money, what are some common misconceptions that we have, that people have?
Common misconceptions, it's always funny. It's the folks who don't really have money, who everybody wants to talk about investing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and which is awesome. I think investing is
right. They want to invest.
Yeah, but then they start, trying to time the market. And personally, in my beliefs, I don't try to time the market. We just take some, philosophies that we manage, and that based on facts and the natural laws of investing, that helps us to have a prudent strategy around clients' financial planning. So some of the things is, by the time you choose a stock, if you will, that you think is going extremely well, you probably lost the boat already. Right.
So do you need some type of insider information in order to make money on investing?
No, not at all. It's just some of the principles that you have to follow, like making sure you buy low, sell high. Everybody heard that before. Yeah. But a lot of people actually don't do it.
Why not?
Because human behavior. It's just not natural. It's like when we go to the mall, right? We don't go say, I want to go out and just buy whatever is not on sale. Yeah. It's just that for people, when it comes to the market, they're like, oh, this stock or this company is doing extremely well. Let me go buy. But at that time, it's all you bought at the premium, right? And they're just some different, and it would probably go into too much detail, but it just like the strategies and investments of financial planning. It's very intricate.
So I'm a very strong advocate for working in your purpose, and I believe we find purpose through our passion. From my research, typically we find our passion in our 20s, and you're 23. So I'm curious, what is your passion, and when did you know?
Let's see. My passion is one around challenging myself and others to continue to make progress and move forward. Right. There's no such thing as a perfect life or you can have a vision for what you want, but nothing's ever perfect. But how do I help someone and just continue to make progress That's really my biggest passion, whether it's within my own goals or whether it's within my clients' goals, even my friends, family, whoever I'm engaging with. How do I just help you to continue to make progress and just move forward?
Nice.
Yeah.
When did you know?
Ever since I was little, honestly, yeah. Like, I've always been, you know, captain of my team or something of that nature, or, you know, challenging people. Like, I always challenge my friends, like, dude, you're thinking too small. You gotta think bigger, you know?
That's a good person to have around.
Yeah, sometimes you get annoying too.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, we could be out partying, and I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? You need to just go, you know, think bigger.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But,
yeah, I think I'm that guy too. And I think people just accept me to be the overcritical person sometimes. It's like, you know, I'm just trying to make you better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
That's interesting. So, with that journey from, you know, being the captain on your team, getting to where you are today on this level of success, what is one of the hardest things you've done, and why was it important to who you are now?
The hardest thing I ever done was I went to a camp in Minnesota.
Okay.
Again,
What type of camp?
It was actually a wrestling camp.
Okay.
It's intensive. It's the hardest camp in the country.
Okay.
Like 28 days intensive, sweat, blood, and tears.
High school?
Literally. Yeah, high school.
Okay.
And so, again, with me, I was terrible. So I went to St. Benedict's, right? So we all know St. Benedict's basketball, you know, awesome
Tristan
team.
Thompson, Kyrie Irving, Mike Bongo.
You know, so I knew I wasn't playing basketball, and so that was out.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So I had to figure something else out, right?
I'm gonna make a team.
I'm gonna make something. I'm gonna make something about myself. And so I went, and I did mixed martial arts my whole life, like growing up, and so by the time I got to high school, I said, all right, well, how do I make something out of this? And I was in the locker room, like fooling around during gym or whatever, and I threw this kid, and the wrestling coach was like, yeah, you're playing, I'll see you at practice. And ever since then, I was in practice. But I
you're at this camp.
So I'm at this camp, right? Sweat, blood, and tears. Like, the last day we had to run 15 miles.
Oh my God. It's so much running and wrestling too. Like,
yeah.
Run like miles.
Yes, every day. Like, we would run with miles with people on our backs, like bear crawling, like down football fields with people on our back. It was crazy. Like sweat, you could literally slide across the mat, whatever. It was just crazy. But hands down, hardest thing I've ever done. But it challenged me to always know that I can push further. Like, but I would have never thought I could run 15 miles straight. Ask me to run 2 miles now.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't know. But 15 miles, but I know I can do it, right? Like, if somebody told me, Matt, if I went out there and I was like, 2 miles seemed like a big deal. But if somebody challenged me to say, Matt, you can't do this. Okay, we're going out there. I'm gonna die before I get, it's either I'm gonna get past that line or I'm gonna die to get there.
It's that Will Smith mentality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. When I came back from that summer, there was nothing else stopping me.
Confidence was
like,
sky high.
I was coming out the gate just demolishing everybody and made the junior national team.
Wow.
And then ever since then, I applied those same principles to business, and I face a lot of things now with my business. We have different challenges we're going through.
Yeah, talk about that. What type of challenges do you face in your business?
Well, I mean, a lot of every day, right?
Yeah.
So every day you're fighting, right, to get people to make the smart decisions, right? Even for the things that they don't want to do, but they know they should be doing, right? So you gotta challenge people every day.
Right.
Also, managing your team, making sure that they're being most effective, right? Managing myself, right? Because it's different when you're in a 9 to 5 and you're like,
someone's managing you essentially.
Yeah, or you literally know that your paycheck is gonna come regardless. When that 9 to 5, you're like, all right, even if I took today off, it probably won't make a big impact.
Right.
Every day is a big impact for me. I'm grinding day in, day out, day in, day out. So that's a challenge for me, because those days where I don't want to work, I have them, right? Some people don't believe that, but I have those days.
We all have those days.
Right. And those days I don't want to work, I have to push myself.
Yeah.
So it's about, challenging my clients, challenging myself, and challenging my team to continue to get better. And then also managing the budget, right? Like I have to pay my team. They're not cheap, they're smart people.
Yeah, good people don't come cheap.
Exactly. And so, I just like managing my clients' finances. I gotta manage my own personal finances along with business finances. And sometimes they can be stressful.
Do you ever find a challenge in keeping your clients, or other advisors out trying to steal your clients away?
Not really.
It's not that type of business?
No, it is. Like, there are times where I may, I don't want to say take somebody's client, because I always tell people, if your advisor is doing the right thing, I'm going to tell you that. If you want a second opinion, I'm happy to do that.
Right.
But I'm not in the business of breaking up good relationships. But if it was not a good relationship, I will break it up, because I think some advisors do a disservice to their clients too. So
that's interesting. So, talk a little bit about you talked about your experience in the wrestling and how that's kind of motivated you and giving you that sense of confidence that you really can do anything. On a day-to-day, when you're grinding as an entrepreneur, really no days off, what inspires you to succeed? What is it that keeps you going?
Clarity. I have a lot of clarity around what I want and where I'm trying to go.
Yeah. What is it?
What I want?
Yeah.
Well, the first thing is I want to create generational wealth.
Nice.
Right? So it takes a lot to do that, right?
Yeah.
You got to be strategic, and you also can't be selfish, right? So there are things that I do now that I already know, guarantee, based on what I did, my family is going to be better off. It's a guarantee that by the time I die, $1 million will be transferred to my next generation.
Nice.
So for me to know that, I feel, but that's not enough for me. Like, that's not, you can't create generational wealth from just 1 million. I gotta do a lot more.
That's pretty generational wealthy, if you ask me.
No,
Donald Trump's dad gave him a small loan of $1 million, and he did pretty well with it.
Yeah.
Or did he? But
but
here nor there.
right. But that's one thing. Also, basically. Buying a actual full service firm where I'm building other advisors is big for me too. Right. So basically what my mentor does, I contract with following his footsteps, I'll probably buy him out of his business.
That'll be a good feeling.
When he retires, though, I'm not kicking him out. When he retires,
you're not stealing his business.
No. When he retires, we'll figure out a deal where I can potentially
For sure. So, they say in order to be successful, you have to be the first to do it, the best to do it, or the person who does it differently. Out of those three, how do you aim to become successful?
Well, I can't say I'm the first to do it, because I don't know. I know I'm not the first advisor, right? Yeah. But I know I may do something unique in my practice that someone may have not done, I'm not sure. But they're definitely, in terms of enhancing, I'm all about that. Like, I learned from a lot of different advisors in my life, and I always kind of piecemealed what I liked from each one of them in their process, and I put it all together and created my own, and it made me a better advisor. And so, and then also strategically how I think through. I have a lot of foresight because I'm so young. And I started my practice young. Right. I don't have to necessarily make money in every conversation that I have. Right. So I can invest my time in someone's future because I know they're going to be successful. Right. I know they're going to do well. Yeah. Whereas somebody that's already, older, they're like, I got to take care of my kids' bills. I got to do this. I got to pay for stuff. They have a lot more responsibilities where I can be more selfless. If that makes sense.
Well, I mean, being a younger person, like, you have time is the greatest commodity, and when you have more of it, that's an advantage, If you can get it, if people could just get it at a younger age, then imagine if they compounded that work ethic, how much, or that money, how successful they could be, what I mean? It's kind of really a battle of time and effort. But that also reminds me of this book called Steal Like an Artist. Have you heard of it? It's a very interesting book. Essentially, the concept is taking ideas from other places because success leaves tracks. There's nothing new under the sun, right? But it's taking things that you learn and then combining them to make it yours. So it's not like you're copying any one person, you're just taking and merging it to make it you. So it sounds like that's kind of along the lines of what you've done to become successful.
Absolutely.
That's very interesting. There's probably, it's probably safe to say that everyone on this earth has a vision or a dream. Would you agree?
No.
No?
No.
Who doesn't?
There are a lot of people, unfortunately.
At some point they have a dream though, right?
At some point.
I mean, when we grow up as kids, we have dreams. I don't think kids grow up and like don't have a dream. Come on.
No, I agree. At some point in their life, but then sometimes people's dreams are dead.
Yeah. At what point do the dreams die?
I don't know. I wasn't that guy, so I don't know.
You never knew that guy.
I mean, I'm sure I know people where that happened
Yeah.
to, and especially people who walk around and hate what they're doing, and they don't really they don't really take action to make it better.
Yeah.
I don't know what that world looks like
Yeah.
because I've never been there.
I mean, neither.
Yeah.
So, what is the difference between a person who made their dreams into a reality and the people who didn't?
Decisions, clarity. They might have not had enough clarity. You can have a vision and a goal, but if there's not enough clarity, you don't build the conviction to actually take action on it. Right? Because I'm so clear in what I want to do and what that looks like, I'm willing to take some risk because I want it that bad. Some people aren't willing to take the risk because they don't have enough conviction around what they want.
Right.
Think about it. Like, imagine if, and most people, right? Most people love their moms, right?
Right.
In most cases, right? If somebody smacked your mother, right? This sounds crazy. If somebody smacked your mother, you'll find a conviction to do whatever you need to do to handle that situation, right? Why don't people treat their goals that way? Like that's how I feel. Like people don't really have enough conviction around where they're trying to go, and that's why they don't have any momentum.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool concept. Where do you find clarity? Well, what does clarity mean to you?
What does clarity mean to me? Knowing that I can touch it. I feel so like I know. And you're catching me on a bad day, but I lift it upstairs. I have a card, right, with my goal, and I always keep it in my pocket.
Yeah. Every day?
Every day.
I read that somewhere. That's a good strategy.
And so like now, even with some mentees that I have, I'm like, what you got in your pocket? And they're like, I got my goal. And it can be one thing, right? And so for me, this goal for this year is to get 100 new clients, which sounds a lot. That is a lot. And most people on average maybe get like 50. And most financial advisors, if that, honestly, some people get like 30.
That's a lot of clients to have.
Right, but by doing that now, I have a stronger foundation, which actually impacts my clients as well, right? Because the more people I impact, that means I don't have to charge as much for my fees too.
Yeah.
Because now I have a larger pool, if you will, of clientele.
So how far along are you? It's June. We're six months in. How close are you to your goal of 100 clients?
I'm actually behind. I'm not gonna lie, I am behind, but I'm so convicted that I know we're gonna make it happen.
You can pick up the pace.
This like next 6 months, I'm gonna go so hard. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, I overcame some obstacles that I had to face earlier on in this year, and I figured it out. Found the solution, solved the problem, moved on, and now I still have the conviction around the goal because nothing's gonna stop me. Yeah. I'm still gonna get those 100 new clients.
Yeah, you got to. You got to go for it.
Yeah.
It's in your pocket, man. It's
in the pocket. They say what you become what you visualize.
Right.
And so I look at it at least 3 times a day. I go wake up, grab my keys, it's there, and I read it. And then I go to take my keys out of my pocket. When I get to the office, I read it.
Right.
Like I'm gonna.
So you're looking at it. So do you believe you're a strong believer in visualization?
Oh yeah.
So do you have a vision board?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a bucket list?
I don't know if I would call it a bucket list, but if you mean it in terms of like goals or just
like I have a bucket list of just things I want to do, places I want to go, just a random bunch of things that I want to do before I die.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that.
Absolutely.
So talk a little bit about trajectory. What accomplishment do you think you'll be most proud of in 10 years? getting those 100 clients in that year?
No, I do not want to get
That's short
hundreds
change.
of clients, and then probably being able to buy my parents like a retirement home.
A whole retirement home
Like,
to themselves?
Like, and it could be a nice little condo or something like that, but just being able to do that for them, I think is going to be an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
You know, like them not to have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
And my parents were pretty smart around money and how they manage their finances. Made a lot of sacrifices on that. And so they're going to be okay if I never did anything for them,
Mm-hmm.
but it's because I want to, and they did so much for me. It's important to me.
That's real.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for young people that want to shine in the financial industry? Like, what type of things should they be doing, and what's the mindset of a financial superstar?
Genuinely caring, right? You got to genuinely care about your clients. Ask the right questions, and have clarity around where you're trying to go. Because it's not an easy business, right? You're challenging people who don't realize sometimes that they need help.
Right.
And you're going to face that adversity every single day. There's never a day where somebody's challenging me and saying, I don't think I need to do this. Oh, I think you do.
So even the clients that want to work with you don't always
Agree.
cooperate with what you want them to do.
That's right.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that's human behavior, right?
It is.
I mean, I'm not the perfect guy either, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so even when I have business coaches, I have personal coaches, you know, and I have someone who sits in the room to focus on my own finances.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I don't want to do everything they say either, but that's why they're the advisor. And then I kind of cave in and say, all right, I'm going to trust you.
Yeah.
But it takes the trust factor for sure.
For
Yeah.
sure.
And eventually they have that.
What are some battles that you have with yourself as far as being an entrepreneur?
Managing the uncertainty. Because I'm so convicted, and I'm like zoned in.
Yeah.
There's like
Laser-like focus.
I'm laser-like focused. I'm like I'm gonna charge like a rhino. Nothing's gonna stop me, right? I love rhinos. On a side note, I love rhinos. But a team of advisors, different advisors, mentors, that's so important. You can never not have those in your back pocket.
For sure. So, it's been a great conversation with you.
Appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
The insight that you have and just the perspective from a very young age is really phenomenal, man. I'm very proud of you. Even though you went to Howard, I won't hold that against you. You know, Hampton you all day. Yeah, man, we look forward to having you on our panels. We're glad to have you as a part of the ShineHard family.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, man. So tell everyone how they can find you online and how they can get in touch with you.
Sure. My website is matthewaaronjr.nm.com. My LinkedIn is my LinkedIn, you can just find me on Matthew Aaron, Instagram @IamMattAaron, Twitter @IamMattAaron.
Cool. So you can find us at ShineHard Family, ShineHardFamily.com. You can find me, Johnny Bailey, at JB's Food for Thought. You guys keep shining. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Follow your passion, follow your dreams, and remember that together we shine. It's a wrap. Matt, appreciate you, boss.
Absolutely.
23, I'm growing older. Getting closer to my prime, and my prime, then it's over. Put the plan all in motion.